Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? Got a brand new episode of Marvel Yap today, episode number 50. We're going to be talking about the patch and the OTA, as well as the new data mine cards that we got new info on this past week, as well as the Grand Arena. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, we are joined by the hostess with the mostest, notmydance. How are we doing today, Dance?
I'm doing pretty solidly, my man. It's going to be hopefully a pretty fun week. I'm stoked, honestly, for the Grand Arena. I think there's going to be a lot of really fun stuff just in general happening this week. We just actually had the Grand Arena, like the video that Dexter put out on their channel, right, or on the Marvel Snap channel, as well as they just released their blog post talking about the Grand Arena stuff. So we'll break that down later in the app, talking about that stuff. I'm stoked about it. I think Grand Arena is going to be a very interesting time. Did you ever play Hearthstone?
No, I never played Hearthstone. This is like the first real card game I ever played.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I'm glad, honestly, we're the same there. But because I've heard people comparing this to Commander, I think, or is that Magic the Gathering? That might be Magic the Gathering.
I think that's Magic.
Okay, yeah. So I've heard it compared to that. I don't know it. Again, like I said, like we both said now, this is our first kind of real card game. But I'm excited by this idea. There seems to be a lot of really interesting stuff here. It's a lot of it just seems like a very interesting game, and also just has more energy. And I don't know if you saw the banned cards. We'll have to talk. I need to hold it. I love what's banned. Just wait. I'll wait.
Yeah, there's some interesting banned cards as well. But the topics for today, by the way, are going to be the OTA and patch review, which the patch didn't change any cards, but it happened the same day as the OTA. And then we're also going to be talking about the data mines that we also got on Thursday, which is talking about Hordes in the October season. And then we are going to be talking about the Grand Arena.
Yeah, both of those I think should be honestly pretty fun. I like the... Yeah, I mean, we can just go straight into talking about the OTA, I think, if anything, because the OTA had some changes that definitely felt needed, felt good. Mm-hmm. It also had a lot of kind of just... I can just say filler, it kind of feels like. Just like stuff where I'm like, yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, no, I think this right here, starting off with Jennifer Kale.
We both said it wasn't needed.
Yeah, I don't understand necessarily why this needed to be a 2-3. Maybe they just want every card in the game to be a 2-3 going forward, which is why they also made Mirage a 2-3 as well.
I feel like Mirage is because we weren't seeing any play with her. Even with Victoria Hand being a very meta thing, which maybe I'm not going to say no, right? People were playing her, but one of the things I'm guessing, and I think it's both with Mirage and with God, why don't I remember the other energy generator? Jenny, yeah, Mirage and Jenny. Mm-hmm. I feel like both of them, while being played, I'm wondering if their win rate stats were lower.
That's probably is what was happening, and it's interesting because I think Mirage is in the Infinity Ultron shell with Victoria Hand too, which was one of the either most played versions of it, but it wasn't the highest win rate one. I think this week it may have been different, but it was the Agent Venom version instead that had a higher win rate that wasn't running Infinity Ultron. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see how this has affected that kind of shell itself, because I haven't looked at the stats necessarily since the Mirage change.
Yeah, but. I mean, I guess, so this feels both of them kind of felt similar. I don't mind, honestly, either one. They both felt very similar to when Misery got buffed, where it's I feel like it was already getting played a lot, but I wonder if its win rate when played is actually a lot worse. And this is that stuff we don't have the information we don't have access to. So.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think another one of the changes that made sense was Zabu going to a 1-1 from a 1-2. I think totally understandable there.
I'm gonna have to start writing these down when I start saying my OTA changes that I want to have in advance, because maybe I can even find it. I said this a while ago, Zabu.
Yeah, you did. When play rate started to go crazy once again, it makes so much sense for this to be a 1-1 for what it enables going forward, and I'm not surprised that this is what they changed. I feel like other people are well, they need to actually just rework this card again because Zabu just gets so much use. But it's just because 4-cost cards in general are still really solid, while 5-cost cards are punch and air, which we'll be talking about in a hair a little bit later.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of on that vein, I feel like there's a lot of 4-cost versus I don't know. We've talked about this before. They've just been struggling with finding what they want to do with each of them, and I really hope that Jennifer Kale is going to bring. We said it before. I want Jennifer Kale to bring life to these 5-cost cards because I think that's a very interesting place for it to be. I just don't know how much we'll actually be seeing there, right? Until there's actually some sort of synergy or something like that that works specifically with these 5-cost cards. It's just going to be difficult for them to, I feel like, be well balanced. I think when we're going to have cards that technically are fine, like a Devil Dino, but don't work and don't give you enough value in comparison to cards like just Ajax, and even just like as a meta changes. Did you realize that like Darkhawk is actually like really low win rate right now?
Yeah, since Thanos' play rate has died down, Airstream's play rate isn't really high. Like a lot of people are playing types of decks where they're like playing either all their cards out or they're not having any cards that add, cards to their deck. Like Agamotto's also at like a low right now too. Like it just, and I think until maybe Terrax comes out next season, like with Rockslade being a 4-cost, like it's just a feels bad moment for Darkhawk right now, which kind of is a card that ebbs and flows as the meta ebbs and flows too.
Yeah. Do you think, legit question, do you think Rockslide becomes playable if he does it? I mean, a power creep, whatever, maybe goes to like a 4/4, does 3 rocks?
So
this isn't in the OTA, right? None of this was actually in the OTA, y'all, just so you know. But like, I feel like there's a chance that like that could be something that occurs just as a reliable thing in comparison to, again, talking about Terrax a little bit.
I don't think they could do Terrax and Rockslide potentially being 2 cards that can add 3 rocks to your deck. I think that's a little too much. I think they would need to make him like a 3-cost, like a 3/2 or something. Like negate his power more of the 3-cost, because when he was a 3/5, like that was crazy. Like he needs to be maybe like a 3/4, 3/3. But I don't necessarily think. I think the 3 rocks guaranteed going in your opponent's deck is too much. Like you're already doing that with having Korg in the deck, anyways. But
yeah, we'll
see what Terrax does.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But not to mention, right? If we're going to talk about these 4-cost cards, we said things should get buffed for forever.
And they listened finally. You know, the 4/7 that doesn't really change too much, but as long as it gets a little bit of value, they just need to do Cyclops next, so you can use it in Old School Patriot as you're learning how to play Snap. Know, that's just all you gotta do.
I honestly like the fact that we've gone this long and they're even willing to rebuff the thing. Why is the Shocker the same ability? I talked about it in the thing last week, and I said they were gonna buff a Highfield card. They said they were doing that with the thing. Ish. They talked about that a little bit, but why do we actually currently have just such a useless, honestly, card right now in the Shocker? I don't get it. And I don't think the thing, evoed or not, is useful either, unfortunately.
And it's so sad about the Shocker too, is that Mr. Fantastic First Steps is pretty much like a better Shocker than Shocker could ever be, unless they changed him to be like that. So it's kind of just it feels bad for Shocker going into this, whereas Thing got his power buffed. He didn't get his high Evo ability changed.
He's still not good there, I think, from the info I've seen. It's just,
No, another 4-cost though. How do you feel about Doom 2099 getting another point of power?
I don't like this card. This was the card that I said was going to be one of the better ones coming out of that season. This was December last year, I think. Yes,
December was the rival season.
Oh my god! Oh, you know what I just realized, bro? We're closer right now to the next December season than we are to the rival season.
Yep, we are. Since we're in July.
I hate that. I hate that. Actually, I think I really hate that. I don't. Oh god! I just realized that. Anyway, this is. I'd argue it's probably fine. However, I don't like it, just due to the fact that I just don't think that Doom 2099. It doesn't create interesting games. I don't think.
No, it's boring kind of gameplay unless you'll love that ongoing style stuff. I think Astral Projection is pretty interesting in this style list. I think that some people have been running with Spectrum and Doom to be able to get some of that value there while the rest of the cards are ongoing. But this card needed some sort of buff there. I'm glad it wasn't on the Doom bots and it was on his base itself.
Yeah.
I think that adds balance to it. But another really good change is that Negasonic only works with characters now. Spells do not trigger Negasonic, so people like myself were cheesing Negasonic and using a spell on Negasonic first before playing the card I wanted to play. So I'm glad that they made this kind of quality of life change to give Negasonic some better value.
I think Negasonic is a completely fair change, right? This is one that I think it's warranted. It makes sense. I still don't want it because I don't like Negasonic being an incredibly great card. Unfortunately, I just don't think it creates interesting gameplay. Just another tech card. It's crazy. I know it. You may be shocked by this, Tuck. I don't love tech cards.
Really?
Yeah, I know. You didn't know this about me. I've actually hidden that information about me really well, but I don't like tech cards. But legitimately, I think it's a fine change. It is deserved. I think there are a lot more cards that actually should have character in them that don't. For example, actually, straight up, one that isn't, and I'm actually surprised by. Ironheart can give skills powers.
Oh, really?
It's very specific, but I've seen it happen before where the astral projection pulls out it uses Jubilee, then pulls an Ironheart, which hits the astral projection for one of the hits.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, there's just a few other cards where I'd be like, this should be saying character. So yes, I think the Negasonic one is fair. It just doesn't make a difference. But I mean, honestly, one that didn't make a difference. It wouldn't make a difference if it said card or character or or whatever. Bullseye losing a point of power, because I do think that Bullseye went from a 3/3 to a 3/2. It doesn't make a difference if this says card or character, but this is one that has been, we talked about it before. The deck is good. And they've said Bullseye is just simply really strong. And they want to, I find it funny, they noted as one of the things that they said was they wanted to make sure the fast forward action isn't occurring too often, which I think is funny. I also do straight up think that they should really, so this is one thing I didn't, so did you play a lot in the beta, Tuck?
I first started during the Miles Morales season, so it was like right after.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Both of us started in the public release of this game. But with the beta, there was, I believe it was Bishop and Collector had a really, really slow animation. And it was like, it would take a while for each of them. And if you had them on like the Castle or Bar Sinister one that makes you like 4 of them, it was forever. They've decreased that. It's still a delay, but like I think they need to do something similar with that with Swarm. Swarm takes way too long right now.
Yeah, it's really interesting looking at like Bullseye discard when it comes to animation, and then also like Ironheart Odin on a Wong is different because it's not predetermined what cards are going to be hit. I think with that, which is why you don't get the fast forward animation. Whereas like with some of the Collector Bullseye, yes, you do get some fast forward, but there's also instances where you have to like wait another half second to see which of your cards actually got hit, because it doesn't always give the set power actually onto location for you and your opponents until like a lot of animations have subsided. So I wonder if that's also a thing they can kind of like mess around with to be able to speed up some of these turns.
I think the way they've said it in the past is that animations, I think it's, maybe I'm wrong here, but I believe it's the number of animations that makes stuff delay, not the speed of said animations.
Gotcha.
So I think with the amount of Bullseye, because I think it counts each of the cards that it throws as a hit, and it counts each of the ones that you discard from your hand as a hit, and then sometimes those ones that you discard from your hand have extra animations, which I'm fine with the animations, but again, like Scorn, I think Swarm are 2 ones where it says like, cut those down. That's not even a thing where it's like an OTA change. And for what's worth, on the actual OTA, I'm fine with this change. I just think that both of those should probably be, I just think both those need to have they have like a half second or so where they're doing, where they aren't doing anything. I don't want those half seconds anymore.
Make him 0 seconds. Just like
I
how we think this Marvel Boy change did 0? Or do we think that it's a substantial change for Marvel Boy to be a 3/2?
I think Marvel Boy will be played in the same number of lists that he will before. And it's funny, we talked about him a while ago where you were like, yes, he should get nerfed to this 3/1. It made sense. But also, it's just kind of one of those things where we see that change occur and the deck archetype drops off extremely heavily.
Yep. And it's like, there's just Killmonger and Surfer everywhere right now. And, you know, Killmonger is in Surfer, and then there's Killmonger in other lists too. So, like, if you're not running Kyra, which also, like, I still talk about, you know, Kyra still being a bit of copium because, like, yes, because counter exists, Kyra counters that counter, but it's just it feels bad in that slot instead of having something else. But as Killmonger's in the meta, of course, this decreases that. But, like, Clea's been okay, and I think Marvel helps the Clea. And then, of course, like Fantasticar stuff. You know, if you have Fantasticar for Marvel Boy because it's end of turn.
That's the biggest reason why I'd argue it's probably fine, as well as next week's First Steps Invisible Woman.
Yes, that'll be actually solid as a good like tech piece, kind of with Invisible Woman, which I think will spoiler going to be good. But the last change we have is Green Goblin, which went to -4 from -3. Okay.
It makes sense, but again, as another like spicier take here, I don't want this change. I don't want Clog to be good.
Yes.
And so like this makes sense. I agree. But I don't want this to be a thing. I don't want there to be a desire to clogging your opponent. Like, I'm fine with the deck existing. I just don't want it to be meta. Because if there's a lot of it, I don't know, it really is not, I believe, an enjoyable time. And the fact that, by the way, we can have a 3 -4 that gives you the benefit of clogging your opponent's side, and now we still have Cyclops, who is just dodging those buffs like no one's business right now. Just like my opponent's monster always dodges the gambit. I don't know how.
Yeah, no, I don't think Green Goblin necessarily needed a change. They probably had some data that we maybe hadn't seen. But like,
there's a lot of that, I feel like, where it's just like they have data we don't know, and it feels like a weird catch-all to keep saying that, but I 100% agree.
Yeah, it's got to be some just like really, really weird instance. I would love to, be able to have the opportunity to see that data at some point, but
oh my gosh, yes.
But we'll see how that goes. But you know what data we also just got with the patch dance? We did get some data mines. And the first one...
Description none.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The first card we got here, this is Colonel Captain America, which has no data mine ability or description, but it is just what was data mined this past week on Thursday. Next, we also do have Headpool.
This one actually has an ability, though, right?
Yes, this is a 1-cost, 1-powered card. When this is destroyed, return it to your hand, then give cards there +1 power.
This one looks fun.
Yeah, this is
very
interesting.
A weird combo piece, right? Like another fun way to use just Deadpool and such. And I'm gonna say the thing that you're gonna hate here, okay? But like, here's the thing: I think Deadpool's gonna be a great combo with this. But you know who else I think is gonna be really good?
Who?
Sabretooth.
I mean, yes, it would be a good combo.
He's shaking his no. I watched this show where they say these subliminal messages of humans, and they say when they shake their head and then say yes, it really does not mean yes.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just gonna cut you off at the pass there. He's agreeing to agree.
This could work with like even Surfer in a sense, or I'm thinking some like Mill Destroy. So like you can have your Carnage, Firehair, Killmonger. So like you're destroying this card a bunch of times to get extra power into cards in your hand. You could maybe even use it with regular Destroy. It's going to be interesting to see how this works. It has like the same ability kind of like as Deadpool, as it always returns to your hand. But this card does not double its power when it's just returned to your hand like Deadpool. It gives every other card that is in your hand +1 power.
That's how I understood it as well. I've heard people saying it's at the location, but it reads to me as it's in your hand.
Yeah, that's what I think is whenever cards get there. Like it doesn't say cards on that lane. It says like, give cards there as your hand.
Yeah, give cards at that location versus... I guess they could say give cards in your hand. Maybe it's that way, but they talk about return it to your hand, then give cards there. The most recent place they talk about in the message, in that text, is in the hand, therefore logic, yada, yada. Yeah. But I agree.
And then the next card we have is going to be the Hunger, which it looks like it is a skill on reveal Horde 3.
Yeah, so I do actually, it's a brand new keyword that, according to these data mines, looks like to be coming out in the October season. And again, this is, I don't know the other games, but I think this is again similar to Magic or Hearthstone. I think it's called like a mass, I think, in those places. But the way the keyword of Horde works is that it makes a zombie Horde token card with that much power. So let's say for Horde 3, with 3 power at a random location on the board. And then if you were to do other cards that have this horde keyword, that those all add the power to that horde that is on the board.
Okay. So it's like in a set spot, hypothetically, I think maybe game start, or it's something you add to it, maybe a specific lane.
It's so so let's just say you don't have any zombie hordes on the board right now when you play the hunger.
Okay. Does it
on a random location? It would make a zombie horde, and then so this is kind of a 1/3 with that logic. But I do like the way this kind of works. It's a 1/3. This is a 1 cost 3 power card that says you don't choose where this card goes.
It's random, kind of wherever. Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, which it's really cool. There's also as shown in some of these other cards, you will see there's more horde stuff here, but that work with this horde keyword. But just as a baseline for this, I think this is a really interesting way to make a 1/3 work.
Yeah, no, this is cool.
Which
because like 1/3 is like premium stats
fun
for a 1 cost. So like it being random.
Yeah,
and not
that's like Blade, 0, stuff like that. Pretty spicy, but like I said, that's not the only horde card we got data mined here.
Yeah, we also have which zombie horde is what Dance is referring to here. This is like the context of what Dance was saying is like this is the data mined zombie horde card, which has is a 0/0. And then we also have Zombie Captain Marvel.
This is the only of the zombie cards that are data mined that doesn't use this horde keyword, but still looks pretty cool.
Which is a 4 cost 4 power card. Activate. Destroy your other cards here and get +3 power for each. Move to a location you are losing.
This card is sick. I love this. So it could potentially kind of be like a 4... I don't know, it goes up to like a 4... is that a 4/13?
Yes. It'd be a 4/13 and then moves, which you could also, if like, you could do some Morgan Le Fay stuff maybe with this too. Like you activate this to the cards in the lane and then you Morgan Le Fay afterwards. Like, of course, you're investing a lot into that. But like there's a couple of different ways you can either do that or mess around with, Destroy in general. Destroy having a 4 cost card, because Destroy doesn't have really a 4 cost card necessarily. Like it has Misery, yes. But this itself is something that can kind of give you better value than Misery in a sense, where Misery only works on the on reveals, whereas this could hit on reveals, ongoing, or any set card in that lane.
I'll give you a different take then. Annihilus Clog. Again, just talking about Clog stuff here. You've got Sentry in the hood.
Yeah.
That's just 2 Sentry hood, and you throw down like a debris as well. You just get to set up that location. Like you just remove all the detriments there. You do have to set it up, which I think is actually going to be a big deal with this card. Like I like this card a lot. The fact that it's an activate really hurts it, I think.
Yeah.
But I still think it's awesome.
Yeah, because you have to set it up, and it's the 4 cost activate, which we've talked about before, like Hellcow, Symbiote Spider-Man as like 2 just.
But we've seen Fantasticar work out.
Which like Fantasticar is different
So
in a sense, but yes, I do agree. Fantasticar has been working out as a 4 cost.
Yeah. But it's just basically like, yes, it can work. We'll see if it actually does. But in general, I think this is pretty interesting. I like the, what is it? I just like this card in general. I think it's going to be pretty cool. But it also has some really cool synergy, I think, with another of the cards. And I don't know if it's the next one that we're talking about here for the data mines.
The next card that has an ability over here is going to be the Zombie Giant Man, which is an on reveal Horde 1. Add the power of your highest powered zombie horde to this.
This card seems really cool. There's a lot of horde stuff. Like this feels like a season that's coming out, kind of similar to next month, or not next month, month after. Similar to like the September season, similar to this season, where it's like if you get all the cards for, like, it feels like this whole thing's gonna work together.
Yes, it's combo season based on like what you all can get from snap packs and everything for sure.
Yeah. So like on one hand, I like this card. On the other hand, how much does it actually work?
Yeah.
Like it's cool in concept. We just don't know how much power you're legitimately or realistically adding to these cards. There's a couple other cards we'll talk about here. but we just don't know how good they are really yet.
Which we don't have too many details on every single card. Like we also have Zombie Galacti, which has no abilities, no description. And then
which, by the way, that's actually the race of like Galactus, is what I heard. I looked this up.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I think so. It's the race of. It's weird. It's not Galactus as data mined. Again, these are all data mines that change, yada yada, and what is it like? Disclaimers. So it's like it's technically not like the exact same, I think, but it also feels very similar.
Yeah, that is interesting. We'll see. What happens there. We do have Zombie Mr. Fantastic. Okay. Which is on reveal Horde 2, which these on reveal Horde 2 is them adding power to the Horde, right?
Or making the Horde with 2 power. Okay. So it's one of those two.
And then activate,
so again,
give 4 of your created cards. 4 of your created cards plus 1 power.
And that's most likely on the board, not in hand. Which is pretty, so it's pretty, first of all, this is the first on reveal plus activate we've seen on a card together. This... Here's the thing. The card I think that has the most text in the game right now is actually Bullseye, I believe. However, this is like the most amount of like. If I showed this to someone who just started the game and they're still doing the tutorials where they've got the 1/3 Spider-Man, then they see this guy and they're like, what? As a two, like this doesn't make any sense. You have to gonna have to be doing a lot of heavy lifting with those exclamation points because that's created, activate, horde, bunch of stuff like that. But it seems interesting, right? This seems like a really cool, weird card. I like the ideas behind it, putting some synergies not just within the Horde, letting you create other cards, but what cards are you really trying to create there?
Yeah, and I think optimally, too, this is essentially could be like a 2/7. Like if you hit everything, like if you have 4 created cards, and then it's not like cards that have to be created in hand. Like it's just created cards in general. Like this also could work potentially with Thanos. And work maybe even like Broodlings or created cards. Like there's a bunch of different ways you can kind of like mess around with this to give them extra power. We'll see how how the Horde works, which I think that's also another good Mockingbird card. I think this is a good season for Mockingbird, just to have like another token to kind of mess around with. And then we do have some other, I think Zombie Power Man has no ability yet either. Zombie Scarlet.
And we were told that's Luke Cage, right?
Yes, that's like the original iteration of Luke Cage, what someone said in the comments.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And then this Scarlet Witch. After you play a card here, Horde 2.
This is interesting. So this is another one where it's like, yes, this one in combination with like Giant Man. It's pretty simple to get in a bounce style of deck. I feel like you can get a lot of points. Like we're talking about, there's a deck that I feel like has been close to playable for a while, and it's really struggled a little bit in numbers. And I actually think that this season will bring it into fruition. I think it's that Mockingbird, Angela, Kitty bounce deck with Sasquatch and Mysterio.
Yeah.
Where I feel like these Horde cards might actually fit pretty well, and especially considering the fact that we do have Zombie Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, no, I think that works well with Mockingbird, and this isn't a limited to once per game, so I'm wondering if this is repeatedly you can get the Horde bigger and bigger and bigger.
It has the exact same wording as Hope.
Okay, so yeah, you could totally you can buff your Zombie Horde as much as possible here, which, like you said, is really good for Giant Man, which adds your highest power Zombie Horde to this, which also, if it says your highest powered Zombie Horde, does that mean you can create multiple Hordes on the board?
I think if you pull one back into your hand, it'll make a new one.
Okay. So that's...
But the question that I don't know is which Horde gets power, or maybe both Hordes get power with future Horde.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Which is making bounce even better, potentially.
The last new card we have is going to be Zombie Sentry. 3 cost, 4 power card. On reveal, Horde 1 for each of your cards at the right location.
So this is one that I was also talking about. You play this, and then you activate... this was the one I talked about earlier with Captain Marvel. With Zombie Captain Marvel. You play this, and then you get the value on Zombie Captain Marvel.
So you play this into Captain Marvel, and then Captain Marvel destroys the cards that are on that right location. Gotcha. Oh, that's interesting.
I'm really excited about this season just because of how much stuff they can add here, as well as we've seen it with like a new keyword, something like that. they'll take their time figuring out the correct way to implement it, the correct way to use all the stuff there. And as time goes on, I'm willing to bet potentially move down 12 months next October season. This is data mined as October season, but 12 months down the road, what does that mean for the 2026 October season of Marvel Snap? Can we get some more Horde stuff that does even more things? Smooth the bumps that are most likely going to occur with a brand new keyword getting added.
Yeah, because like we had like going off that too, like activating that September last year. We have more active coming back in this September. You know, they've had a year to work through what's going on. Like, I will also be interested to see what happens. We're getting new keywords now, it looks like, every year, which is cool to add, you know, quality of life to the game, you know, different ways. You know, it makes it a little bit complicated too. Like, we have to keep that in mind perspectively for new players. But we have some other... What have you got, Dance?
I was gonna say, I don't think it's that bad for new players.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe I'm crazy here, but like, you're right that it is going to be bad for new players, but also I think that there is a very solid. I think the intro system into the game is very good. I think it's really solid. I just think that the biggest thing we might want to question as time goes on is that even if that is fine, how difficult, or like maybe they should do something where it's like you give them I don't know, maybe they've hit like rank 30 or something like that, and they get into general like populars or whatever, people who can play whatever decks. Like, hey, you have not seen these keywords yet. Here's give them another one more bit of tutorial saying that, where it's like, these are all these keywords you haven't seen yet. This is what these keywords do.
Yeah, I wonder if they do something like that. I went on a trip this weekend, Dance, and one of my only buddies, like that I've known since like.
Whoa, only one buddy.
That I've known since
you only
like
have one friend. That's
college
a shame.
and stuff.
I thought I was his friend, chat. That's so unfortunate for me.
That plays Marvel Snap. You know, you're also one of my besties, so we could put a cork in that. But I'm not a huge Arishem fan, like at all. I don't like Arishem at all. But he told me the only reason he plays Arishem is so he can try out new cards, and because he doesn't have every card to like learn new cards and stuff. And I think maybe if they made a game mode where you're literally playing Arishem and they create Arishem decks, kind of maybe like what they're doing with Grand Arena, giving us all sorts of new decks and stuff to mess around with. I think that would be really cool as a test mode. Also, going off of the new player experience, they did introduce in this patch a brand new style of snap packs, which is theme specific or sometimes potentially even archetype specific. We'll see how that pans out. Right now it is the Fantastic Four, and it's lasting for 2 weeks. So I'm thinking
And so that one's just variants, though,
unfortunately just variants. But hopefully they continue to progress this as, you know, those 2 weeks go up and we get in a new season. Maybe they make a new sort of pack, like we have data mined, where it is specific to like archetypes. So if you really love playing this certain archetype, you'll have access to be able to get those targeted cards. Of course, you maybe still will have some variants or something in there. We'll see. But giving you better luck of being able to get those instead of having to go through an entire Series 5 or Series 4 pack to get those cards you want.
Did you actually pick up any of those? Did you pick up any of those Fantastic Four? Like, did you open that pack?
Wow, English is hard. The only cards I have in there are super rares, but I don't really want to spend the tokens on that opposed to saving it for like new cards coming out.
Maybe I'm dumb here. I just bought every single variant in there. I don't know. I feel like it's still not smart. Like I should still be saving, but also I have over 200,000 tokens at this point, and I said I don't feel like that, like because I buy at least some bundles that are good value or whatever, and I'm like, I've been buying these and I have enough that I'm like, I'm catching up currently. I'm still been going up and stuff. Why not just at least spend some more of my tokens so they're not just burning a hole in my pocket? Because at this point, they don't mean anything to me, and that's just, you know, it's where I am as a player. Not everyone can relate to this opinion, but that's where I'm at, and I'm like, at least I can get some value out of these cards. I can do something different here, and so I've personally been enjoying that bit, but I don't know. I'm interested in how many other people, for what's worth, y'all. Let us know if you're interested in these packs. You're waiting until maybe they just put specific sets of cards in there, or whatever that might look like. I feel like that's going to be a very interesting set to kind of wait for to see what actually happens there. There's a lot that we talked about. I think last time we talked about data mines, I remember going really fast, going till I was out of breath, talking about every single one of them. But I'm interested to see how this will go here, just in terms of the extra stuff. And also, you get cool extra rewards. I don't know how many extra rewards I got from them, but you can get at least 1,000 tokens just from that in general.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting ways. I think like if you can complete albums also through buying those specific packs, like some of those Fantastic Four characters are in albums. I think that's also a good way to potentially look at it, which I think they are in an upcoming album next week too. But I don't think the First Steps Fantastic Four are included.
None of the no. I think that album's coming out next week, or is it third? It's soon. That album, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be full of brand new cards.
Okay, so they won't get it from that. Okay. But we do have a brand new card coming out today, which is going to be The Thing First Steps, which if you guys do not know what The Thing does, let me go ahead and pull that up for us real quick. But it is a brand new Series 5 card, and let me see. Oh, this one has the special variant from the new game mode that we'll be talking about here in a second. But it is a 5 cost.
We can't get this variant for what it's worth. I'll just say as a disclaimer.
5 cost, 6 power card. End of turn, +2 power. Once per game, if your side here is full, destroy an enemy card here with less power. Dance, does the Thing also get the +2 power if your location is full?
Yes, because unlike Human Torch, it doesn't say the word instead. So this would get +2 power, and then I even think we saw that occur in the season video.
Okay, so it does at least go to like a 5/10 if you play it on curve.
Yeah, if you play it on curve, it goes to 5/10. If you can somehow play it earlier, you can get even more value from it. But yeah, I think this card straight up will just be, it's going to be, I want it to at least be good. I don't know if it will be, unfortunately.
I think this is, spoiler alert, another fail for The Thing here, which he was pretty good with when Haiva first came out. He was actually decent, and they nerfed him, and then he hasn't been the same since. It just, the 5 cost slot right now, like we were kind of just brushing over earlier in the video, is just a really, really tough spot because you're dictating a lot of your turn 5, which is a very pivotal turn for your late game play. And there's a lot of other 5 cost cards that are just better for what they do, whether that is the Sarah, like even looking at like Infinity Ultron. Like we looked at how much you have to invest into that to be able to get value. The Thing isn't an Infinity Ultron, but he doesn't get the power of Infinity Ultron. He doesn't have other outs that you can use for combo pieces. Like, in order to get value with this card, you have to fill your lane, which also is a bit more telegraphed than a lot of these other 5 cost cards, which makes it, I think, really tough to get any crazy value with it. It would be different if it was like Cannonball and you could target a card to destroy as well. But I don't know. I think this is kind of just like, oh, I want this card to be a 5/10. Like that's pretty much like your entire thing here. Unless you maybe ramp it out early and maybe it becomes a 5/12. But like, it's just another sad day for Ben Grimm.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd agree with you there. I think that this is at the very minimum, this can become a 5/10.
Yes.
And that's potentially fine. And a 5/10 that destroys an opponent's card, probably still good. But I just I don't think, like you kind of said there, it's probably not going to do a lot in terms of making this guy make a splash. I think that that's one thing I've realized with the last like month or so. And I actually would say that I really want to give props to Secondary on this. And I know I'm about saying that as we're kind of dunking on this card. I think they're making a lot of cards right now. And I know we've got like Fantastic First Steps and a couple other cards that are really good. But I'm going to say in general, as a general statement, I think a lot of the cards that they're making are generally playable.
Playable, yes.
Whether like at least playable, I feel like there's not been a card that has come out in a hot second that I've been like, this is just trash. Like there's just, even if they're not amazing, even if they're not spectacular, even if they're not fantastic, did you like the ba thing? Cool. Yeah, thanks. Even if it's not fantastic, I think that at least these cards are there is a place for them. It's just not maybe as widespread as potentially we would appreciate, we would like. So at least for the Thing, I actually think this is, I'm fine with this. I'm fine with the card being kind of okay. I do wish that the secondary ability mattered more, because honestly, I think even just the +2 power end of turn is interesting. But Yeah.
But you've also cooked a deck with the First Steps thing as well that is probably going to get better when some other cards come out this season. But like this is kind of like the rough draft you have for it right now at the moment, right?
Yeah. I think so. This is. I just feel like it's a lot of Series 5 cards here. Part of the reason for the name. But I would argue that probably you're going to toss Human Torch from this list because Human Torch is, again, I think just in that perfect spot where it's like, it's not great, but it's probably fine. And I think in legitimacy, especially with Doom 2099, who just got that buff, as well as a lot of these other abilities, you probably legitimately would like to see Mrs. Fantastic Invisible Woman in that slot instead. So, but we don't have that here technically, so I'm not going to put that out. But as I've made this list, I wanted to put that in here. I just feel like it's better just to at least give y'all something you can potentially play now. Or just another end of turn card that generally could be playable is probably fine here as well. But you forgot, I think the biggest thing I also like is the fact that with both Jennifer and Psylocke, you can ramp out kind of easily. And then if you're wasting that extra energy, then you're not wasting it. You've got Sunspot.
And I like that.
So, yeah, I feel like in general, this is a interesting place for it to go. And with the, with the filling up of Sunspot, Squirrel Girl. Oh my gosh, wait, I just realized Marvel Boy isn't in this deck. Marvel Boy instead of Human Torch. I don't know why I actually did that.
And then would you do First Steps Invisible Woman instead of Makari?
Probably instead of Makari or Psylocke.
Okay.
I think it's one of those two. Because Doom 2099 is nice to ramp out. I don't know which one I'd actually prefer there. But I think Marvel Boy is actually a really... I missed that in this bit, but it's fine. I don't know. It'll probably be fine as is. You at least get to fill the board with these other cards here. So... there you go. But again, as per usual, I'm not the only one who made a deck. I don't believe so.
Yeah, I made a newer kind of Big Dumb Idiots version. I don't know if this is like the set home for the thing, but the thought process is that you're just gonna get a lot of Scar value. And like that's why you Galacta and Gwenpool to boost some of these cards as well. The thing going to a 10 early would be what gives you Scar value, which would be Luna into First Steps of the Thing. Because then at the end of turn 5, he's a 10 powered card, so then you can get Scar for cheaper. And then you have other options, with Coal Obsidian. You either have, the Ice Cube, or you have Zabu to be able to play Coal onto. You have a bunch of big cards. I mean, you are running 5 4-cost cards in this, but you have 3 different potential discounters for that with Zabu, Mr. Fantastic, or with Surge to be able to kind of optimize.
And you got Luna to ramp.
And you have Luna to ramp. So like this is greedy, and you have no tech to protect your big cards. But I was like, what if something like this, kind of was a thing. So we'll see how this, plays out. But I immediately just thought of Scar stuff when it came to the thing.
Yeah, no, I think that this is. I think this is good value. I think everything you're doing here is good value. Not for what's worth. I do think if you wanted more value, if you wanted more value, I'd probably say you should be watching Tucker's videos that he breaks down all these new cards, because then you're getting the value out of your time that just to watch a video that's roughly 10 minutes where he breaks down each and every week whether or not it's worth it to buy or bust this brand new card. Spoiler, he's giving you maybe a little bit of a spoiler for the thing this week, but doesn't mean that he's not going to be offering some really great tips, advice, as well as just his general thoughts and opinion on the card, even more so broken down in that video. And it was before his voice got all scratchy because he just came back from vacation. So if you'd like to hear his voice at higher tier, as well as get to see this man talking about this brand new card each and every week that comes out, make sure you go over to youtube.com/@Tucker. And don't worry, he also streams over on twitch.tv, TUCCRR. He's on TikTok uploading these TikToks. Oh yeah, you just upload TikToks to TikTok. Well, I was thinking like you could upload shorts to TikTok, but I guess that's not really the way. He's on TikTok uploading the TikToks, and he's also over on the Twits, the X with TUCCRR, everywhere you want to find him. If you want value from your time, like you're going to get value from all of your rampers inside of this deck, Tuck, you should go over to that channel, TUCCRR.
Dan, so the goated plug. I appreciate it. The next thing we got on our agenda, though, is we do have a brand new game mode, the Grand Arena, which is releasing on Thursday, which is the first time we have had this game mode opposed to anything else. This looks...
I'm stoked about this.
Very, very interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think Grand Arena is going to be a really interesting game mode. Like we talked about earlier, it's kind of similar to Commander. That is, I think, Magic the Gathering. Maybe we're getting this wrong. Apologies. Neither one of it, like we talked about earlier. Neither one of these things. But so the biggest couple of the big changes inside of this game mode is that you have a champion card. Now, this champion is either, I believe, regular Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic. I think that's base Mr. Fantastic as well. Then it is a Human Torch, the new one. The Thing, the new one. Yeah, sorry, First Steps, Human Torch, First Steps. The Thing, Herbie, Doom 2099, Mole Man, who we have not played with yet at all, as well as Carnage. Each of them are a champion that starts in your hand, and then you drop to your other hand size, whatever. You also get a special skill that correlates with each and every one of them. Those skills, each of them being different. We're not going to go over all of those. There's actually a brand new video that Marvel Snap just uploaded to their YouTube channel where Dexter broke down all that information. Most likely that's going to be mostly the link to that video will probably be in the description down below. We don't need to reiterate every single thing here, but there is some pretty interesting stuff. Mainly, like I mentioned with Mole Man, there are 2 new cards that are actually coming out on Thursday with this game mode. For one, it is Mole Man, who is going to be 3 cost, 3 power. On reveal, banish the top card of your deck, add 2 rocks to your hand, set their power to the banished card's cost.
Cost. Emphasis
not the
on
power
cost.
of the card. Yes, because we have both read it the wrong way many times, I think.
Yeah.
So I actually really am stoked for him. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I'm less stoked on the other cards gonna be coming out. The Mad Thinker, who is a 1/1 at the start of each turn after drawing your card, plus 2 power if your hand is full. For this is just a great card with Merlin.
Yep.
Just immediate synergy there. But in general, this card kind of seems a lot less interesting. But I mean, both these cards are going to be at least, I think, playable. Probably just fine. And I don't think either one's going to break the meta. They're just interesting cards. They're going to be releasing the same way. And Second Dinner, I believe, did say, Tuck, you can probably get both of you can get one of them for free if you are a free-to-play gamer. And you would need to spend potentially only... I think they talked about the exact amount of gold that you would need to spend if you wanted to get both of the cards. And I think it's not even a thing where you randomly get a card. You just get to choose it.
Yeah, I don't think this is like another one of those like systems like with what was it, Sanctorum, where you had an option, like you would open a cache to be able to get one of the 3. I think you actually get to pinpoint and pick which one you want. So if you'd rather have Mole Man, you could choose Mole Man instead. If you'd rather have Mad Thinker, you get Mad Thinker instead. If you want to get both, I think it does cost a little bit of gold. I think that is the issue. Maybe issue, but I think that is the difference if you don't buy the premium pass, which the premium pass has a whole bunch of goodies compared to just the free version, like a large difference of stuff going on.
And so we were talking about this when we first saw the announcement video, that there was a event pass, and there's the free one and versus the paid one. And the biggest thing I said was, I know people are going to complain about it, but if the premium just costs gold and it isn't a just money thing, this means even though there's an easy argument against it, this is technically free to play viable, considering you do get gold each and every, you get I think about 1,000 gold a month, if maybe a little bit less, if I'm not mistaken. It's 900, maybe 900.
I know you get two. You get
it's 900 to 1,000. You get 200 a week plus the 500 for hitting 90.
So that would be
200 a week.
1,300 if you can hit
it was
infinite, or just hit 90, and then you do get some, I think, for free, maybe in the season pass or not.
You can get some gold to potentially get this premium pass, but I believe, based off math that I saw Hoagland doing, it was you need to win 6 games a day. This game modes will be after 2 weeks. You can win 6 games a day, or even just play 6 games a day, one of those 2. And that's enough to, if you have the premium pass, you get everything.
That's awesome. So there's 50 levels.
So, yeah, there are 50 levels, and that's going to be a lot of levels. This is one thing, Tuck, and as a precursor, you remember the pain of having to click through every single one of the masteries when that first got there? I'm willing to... I have not seen in any video thus far of a claim all button.
Yikes. I actually don't. Why can't we not just get a claim all button, in this game? Because I feel like we don't have that. We haven't ever had that.
I don't want them to do that for what's worth on, the collection track and such, as someone who doesn't claim those things. But I think, especially in things like... for what's worth, the masteries and stuff like this, where it doesn't make a difference whether you claim all or not, because it will just automatically claim it at some point. These things should just be a claim all. There should be a button just to say give me everything. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Also, with something I want to note too is when it comes to the arena, you do have to spend a ticket in order to play in the arena. But if you win your game, you get your ticket back. If you lose your game, you are getting half the rewards you would have if you won, which you get 10 glory and 10 XP if you win. You get 5 glory and 5 XP if you lose, 5 glory and 5 XP also if you tie. You get 3 tickets every 8 hours as well, and then it is 10 gold per ticket if you want to buy tickets by itself.
I also think that there's a like every single, if I'm not mistaken, because they have scrolling back up real fast. There's a daily shop, like daily rotating offers, and that 10 arena tickets, 50 gold for 10 of those is, I believe, refreshing each day. If I'm reading stuff correctly here. So it's if you basically you can buy if you do it for 5 gold per ticket, which is cheaper than anything we've seen before. So the soft cap, they call it, basically where it will stop naturally regenerating your tickets, is at 12. Same thing as other game modes. How do you feel about this? Oh, here, sorry. Based off previous limited time game modes, we expect the average free event pass player to earn enough glory for 1 new Series 4 card. We also expect approximately 10% of free event pass players to earn enough glory for both Series 4 cards, while supplementing their progress with 930 gold in extra tickets, or just being based in their win rate. This cost can be as low as 465 gold if the daily offers ticket bundles are used effectively, which is interesting. And then for premium events players, 75% of the players can expect to earn enough glory for 1 new Series 4 card, while approximately 50% can earn both Series 4 cards without needing any extra tickets while maintaining an average win rate. So there's also, I think, you get an emote, you get a bunch of credits, a bunch of like tokens, as far as I can, or no, maybe not a bunch, but you at least get a decent amount, I believe.
Yeah.
For all these things.
Exclusive.
Maybe
is
it doesn't.
The thing clobbering time emote from the premium pass to the regular pass.
Which, for my emote complete self, I will be having to pick that up here.
1,200 gold to get the premium pass.
Yeah. How do you feel about this? Like, that's kind of we've talked about all this stuff here. It'll be here for 2 weeks. I do think also, actually, I'll mention the ban cards real fast, and then, I don't know, we can talk about how we start personal feelings on these. They banned, you cannot use any of these cards that are already going to be a champion. You can't use them in other decks. So you can't use Human Torch First Steps inside of your Invisible Woman deck, or a deck with the other stuff, because you'll have these base decks that are actually just default pre-made for you, and doesn't matter about your collection level. You can just play one of these pre-made decks. You get to choose, which is honestly really sick. And then you also have the option to use these pre-built decks and potentially make your own deck, which, by the way, one of the things I'll point out here is that it looks like there's a finally hit thing here, a in-game, or like specific game mode deck editor. Ooh. So I don't have to have this high voltage version of a deck and basically holding up one of my 20 slots in my normal decks. I think it'll just be this is the deck that I'm going to be using for this limited time game mode.
That's really good.
So like I said, other than just the base versions, you can't use the same card inside of other decks. I can't use Dr. Doom in one of the other decks. Beyond that, you, Gorgon, Spider-Ham, Galactus, Mr. Negative, Black Bolt, Nimrod, Living Tribunal, Triple M, Mobius, Professor X, Wiccan, and Kang are all off limits, which I love. Also, we forgot to mention, you get just +1 energy each turn.
Just the normal +1 energy.
Yeah, so normally turn 1 you get 1 energy. Turn 1 you get 2.
Oh, okay. So you start off with 2 energy. Gotcha.
Go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in comparison to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is that. Yeah, so that's basically everything else. I think it's gonna be a lot of stuff here. I think it's really there's a lot of information we talked about now, just breaking everything down. But how do you feel about it, Tuck, at the end of it?
I'm excited that we're getting a new game mode and we're having these opportunities for newer players to be able to test cards they maybe don't have, or even just like concurrent players that have been playing for a while but they haven't had the opportunity to get certain cards. Like, I think it's going to be really cool to be able to run that. I do believe you maybe get an icon if you're playing the same deck as another person, so like they'll know kind of what you're playing, or like if they're using just a preset list, you'll know kind of what's in that list, which is kind of beneficial for people who aren't playing untapped. checking stats and stuff.
Okay,
And I
nice.
think I will probably be trying to self-plug here, make a deck guide on every single deck. So see like the ins and outs and talk about which one's best and matchups and stuff. But I think that'll be very interesting too, is, going into matchups, knowing, oh, this deck hard counters me. I need to have a perfect hand here, and kind of, trying to min-max your time, especially if you're trying to play, 6 games a day. Some people don't have, the time to play 6 games a day. Some people do, it's just one, solid tenure on the toilet, and you can get all your games done. It really just depends on how that goes. But I'm excited. I'm glad to see these type of changes and like this new game mode and see what happens. And I think the economy looks better. But I am very interested to see what people think about the premium pass after the game mode comes out, opposed to beforehand, to see how it genuinely had an impact on their play and their experience with the game.
Yeah, I think that'll be really interesting stuff. I do, as a just sort of thing, I don't think there is a singular deck that actually counters directly another deck, which I really like. I might be entirely wrong here, but like, again, there's no Mobius. Right. There's nothing. So like, if you're getting a cost discount, nothing's stopping it. There's no Cosmos. There's no Shang-Chi's. And again, in these pre-built lists, which is cool. But that also makes me wonder, are these, and I don't like saying this, but I feel like it might be the case. How legitimate is the chance that these pre-built decks are just worse than using the same deck they already exist? And if you have the cards, you just put in a tech card in there. And I don't want that to be the answer. But like, basically in a list that you're like, okay, this kind of works. What if I just took out one of these cards and put a tech card in there instead?
That's interesting. I wonder if you could put the champions in, because I may make my own destroy list with Carnage, with the champion Carnage.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Because you'll have the option between these custom ones or an actual, or the pre-built ones, or the custom ones where you have that champion locked in. And then you can build whatever else you'd like to based off your own collection there.
That'll be crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, you can use either one of the 8 pre-built decks, or you can build your own decks around these new champions and surprise your opponents with super cool new strategies. That's a direct quote from them. And I'm unfortunately willing to bet that those super cool new strategies is going to be, what if we just Shang-Chi them?
What if I add said tech card and I just offset what they were trying to do, so I am the fun police?
God, I hate that. I said it, and I didn't think about that till I just said it, and I'm so upset.
No.
Oh, it's totally going to be the case.
But I'm very excited for this new game mode. I know you're excited for us to have a new game mode too, and to get all these new emotes. But I want you guys also to know what else I'm really, really, really excited for, and that is all of Not My Dance's content, which will be down in the description below. Whether it is super enthusiastic and yaptastic Twitch streams, whether it is Marvel Snap, whether it is a variety when he's playing some community games, or with his awesome other group of friends that he be vibing out with, or it's his YouTube videos where he does his own deck guides and breakdowns of the OTAs, the patches, as well as what is going on in the meta and with these crazy awesome, either it's hand buff, or he makes some pretty crazy decks, guys. If you guys have not checked out his content, what you guys need to check out all his YouTube videos, or his Twitter, where he's also posting the stats. He's posting his awesome variants, asking you guys some pretty awesome questions as well. Please click all of Dance's info down below. Also, if you like awesome thumbnails, Dance does make some awesome thumbnails, makes all of these Yap thumbnails, all the buy or bust thumbnails. They're absolutely incredible. Huge shout out to the homie Dance. And we want to say thank you guys so much for 50 episodes of Marvel Yap.
It's insane, by the way, 50. I know we didn't really focus on it a lot today because we just had a lot of other stuff we knew we wanted to focus on today. But it's wild that we're at 50, by the way. It's because in 2 more weeks, and that'll be like, actually, it's technically not the 52nd episode. It'd be the 53rd, right? Because that's 1 year of Marvel Yap.
I guess, yeah, I guess technically it would be year. Well, I mean, I guess 52 is a week, or not a week, a year. I don't know.
If 52 is a year, but then 53 would be, that is an anniversary thing.
Yes, I guess.
I don't know. How should we celebrate? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you did make it to the very end of the episode, include the word anniversary in your message. Whether best of luck to you trying to do that, but it's got to be a weird word, so we want to see who can actually make it to the end of the episode and still comment. It's a pretty high bar. Can you reach it?
Yeah.
But thank you so much for hanging out today.
Yeah, we hope you guys have a great rest of your guys' day. Hope you guys have the best of luck when it comes to this new game mode as well. But until then, it's been real. God bless, and later.